Good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning, boo, whenever you're watching this. My name is Brandon Foster, and I am known as the Confidence Coach, author of Confidence, Unleash Your Inner Badass. And I'm here to bring you a massive dose of encouragement and love and joy inside of your business. Today, I'm talking about what do you do inside of your business when you are broken hearted. And the reason why this is really fresh on my mind today is because a lot of my clients that I work with go through challenging times. It's very easy to see the incredible sales, the accolades, my clients being on panels. You see all these incredible business owners going through incredible things. You don't always hear the behind the scenes stories. You don't hear about the losses, the human betrayals. One of my mastermind clients who I love, Tiffany, she was just at a female travel leaders conference and she was on a panel about betrayal in business. It's not something you hear a lot about. And part of growing and scaling a business is we experience disappointments. We experience heartbreaks. We are human beings. And I wanted to create something for all of you all to bring you some encouragement, some love, some hope that doesn't fail, and what God says about these kinds of things happening in your life and your business. And this stuff actually came to me while I was experiencing a broken heart over one area of my business that I found very disappointing. And yeah, I was just brokenhearted about it. And I asked God to give me 7 encouraging reminders. And y'all might have seen me share screenshots about them, but I wrote them in my little journal that I have. And I wanted to take the time to do a more impactful video unpacking these 7 reminders. And so I'm going to share my screen with you and I'm just going to pour into you some love and some encouragement. This is exactly what I do inside of my Born to Slay Mindset Mastermind every single week. And I feel like there's a lot of you all who are going through similar things and you're scared to talk about it. You're scared to admit it and you don't know what to do about it. And so I hope that many of you all watching this will feel encouraged, inspired, and feel love, and more importantly, feel God's peace and love and grace surrounding you in ways that you didn't expect inside of your life and business, no matter what you're going through. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And we are going to share right here, Brokenhearted. There we go. So when you are brokenhearted, 7 encouraging reminders of healing and restoration. So we all experience heartbreak in our business, whether we're losing a big booking, losing a major client, losing a partnership, losing an IC we cherish, losing income we expected. And sometimes the heartbreak is outside of our business, but it still impacts our business. It could be losing a loved one, a friend or family member being diagnosed with cancer, being betrayed by someone we trusted. I was journaling on this in my quiet time, and I wanted to share, like I said earlier, with all of you. That way, if you're moving through heartbreak right now, you can find some joy, peace, and encouragement. So let's go into those 7 reminders. So the first thing I want to remind you of is that it is temporary. It is not permanent. It's so easy to feel like our situations and our circumstances, our heartbreaks, our disappointments, the things that our family is going through on a personal level, or the things that we're going through on a business level is never going to end and that it is lasting forever. And the truth is it's not. It is temporary, and it's brings so much tremendous joy and encouragement to know that you're not going to stay there, and it's not permanent, and it's going to get better. And 2 Corinthians 4:17-18, it says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us far more exceeding an eternal weight of glory, while we do not look at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Every action we take or don't take is based on our feelings of safety and positive expectation." And I don't think that one is supposed to be in there. But I will say this. This is actually true. I think this is a leftover because I always take my class notes that I have and I duplicate the same format because I want everything to look the same. And so this had to have been from another note that I had. And obviously, it really was something that y'all need to hear about this that actually ties in perfectly to this verse, which is that what we do inside of our business, our response to these difficult situations or circumstances, a lot of it is going to be dictated by our feelings. When we feel like a victim, when we feel like there's no hope, we get paralysis mode. And that is not the way to handle challenges in your situations. Faith requires you to step out in confidence of God's love for you and the promises that he has for you, right? And the other thing is I always tell people that it's good to know your KPIs inside of your business, but don't let your KPIs determine what's next for you, or your situations or circumstances determine what's next for you. And that's why it's so important. It says right here, it says, for the things which are seen are temporary. Your KPIs are temporary. That IC leaving is temporary. That betrayal is temporary. That losing that family member, that pain is temporary. That the feeling of loss is temporary. But the things of which are not seen are eternal. And that is God's promises for you inside of your business. And if we look at breaking down this verse, light affliction, it's not that Paul is dismissing what you're going through as not hurting or feeling terrible or all the emotional feelings. She's just saying, like, in the grand scheme of life and things, it pales in comparison to the goodness that God has for you. That's why he says for a moment, meaning brief, temporary, passing. And working for us, even hardship is producing something valuable in us when we see through God's perspective. I heard of this verse from my friend Amanda Francis. She says, we turn shit into gold. It's actually one of the core values for my travel agency too. And I think it's really important to realize is that it's God's grace and love that turns our trauma into wisdom. And turning trauma into wisdom means that the trauma doesn't have the emotional cords over us anymore, the bitterness, angerness, or resentment. It means that we remember the event, but we now see all the fruits and the ways that God has used what happened to us to bless us and bless the lives of others, and we found the wisdom in it. That's not always easy, but it's something that we do inside of my mastermind. That's why there's an entire module on forgiveness. 1 Peter 5:10 says, may the God of grace who called us to his eternal glory of Christ Jesus, after you have suffered a while, perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. Suffered a while means a short time, but I really love this. Perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. I truly believe that when you go through a hardship in your life or business, God doesn't leave you where you are. You know, sometimes in our business, when we experience setbacks or challenges, we want to go back to the way things were, like, because we've gone up and then it feels like we've gone down. But I want you all to remember that we don't want to go backwards. We never want to have backwards motion. We want to have forwards motion. If you look at a really beautiful verse, I believe it's in Isaiah, it says, behold, I'm doing something new, right? I'm creating a roadway in the wilderness and a river in the desert. And I truly believe that one of the biggest blessings is that when you go through these pieces, you're going to be established, strengthened, and settled in a higher place than you were before. And then this is an oldie but a goodie. Weeping comes for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Very, really powerful. Number 2, encouragement promise for you. God will heal it. God will restore it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the verse in Joel. It says, I'll restore to you the years that the swarming locust is eaten, the crawling locust, the consuming locust, the chewing locust. If you actually do a deep dive, you can do a Google search, you can do ChatGPT, and you can look at, there's actually different types of locusts that destroy different types of things. And so that's why it's mentioned 3 times. But it says that you shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and that you will never be put to shame. This is a really encouraging verse if you ever feel guilt or shame over a situation or circumstances happen in your life or your business that has potentially derailed your sales, derailed your standing in your industry. People maybe have said negative things about you. Take courage, and that you will not be disgraced. You will not be put to shame, and that promise. I also love this one in Isaiah. Instead of shame, you shall have a double honor. Instead of confusion, you shall rejoice. Double honor, double portion, rejoice. And then return to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Every day I declare that I will restore double to you. So God pays back double what has been lost. So anything that you've lost as a result of heartbreak or people being hurting humans, just take courage in knowing that God restores for you double, 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 double. Take great encouragement in that. All right, number 3, be brutally honest with God. I cannot tell you how many times I've told my coaching clients, you're not being honest with how you really feel. You're not being honest with God. You are afraid to tell God about how you really feel because you know that you are just a mere mortal and God, knows things that you don't. But the truth is, there's a verse in Hebrews that says that he has compassion for us because he was man, and to run to the throne of grace and mercy in time of need. And he understands our weakness. He understands that we will go to dust, as it says, right? And so the thing is, one of the key tenets of any good relationship is honesty, right? Honesty and vulnerability is the biggest piece of any real relationship. So if you really want God to heal you, or you really want God to help you and move through your situation or circumstance in your life and your business, then you need to put it all on him. You need to be brutally honest. You need to cast at his feet vulnerably, be raw, surrender it all to him. The more you're willing to release and share, the more he can move through you to heal. So be brutally honest. There's been times when I have cussed, yelled, ranted, ramed, why? I mean, all the things. And the thing that I love about God is he can hold face. Like, it doesn't make his ears turn red. He's not ashamed of it because he knows that what you want and what I want in our darkest piece is we want to know that we're loved. And when we get frustrated with him, it's because we feel like he's not on our side and he's not loving us, he's not taking care of us. But if you're honest about that and you're willing to be honest about that, that gives him permission to move because you really want his closeness. Number 4, cry. Feel all the human emotions, okay? Seriously, all of them. Do not bottle them up. Emotions, when not fully experienced, create depression and repression in your body. It keeps your nervous system stuck. It doesn't complete the loop. And you want to complete the circuit to clear space for love and peace. And remember, just because you feel something doesn't mean the thought behind it is true. So oftentimes when we experience betrayal or hardships, we feel like God doesn't love us. We feel like people are out to get us. We feel like we're doomed or we're cursed. Like, we feel all sorts of crazy emotions. And the thing is, those emotional feelings are real. It's neuropeptides moving through our body, but the thought attached to them is not real and it's not true. And it's really important for you to understand the difference. And it's something that I have to repeat over and over and over and over again to remind my clients, because we live in a world where we depend on our 5 senses. And just because, and that's not the biblical way, and it's not how you use your 6 creative faculties to create new things in your business. The biblical way is to believe it before you see it, but we often have it backwards. And so it's really important that you move through your nervous system, you let yourself do whatever you need to do to move through those emotions so it doesn't turn into depression and repression. Number 5, anchor into some really great healing verses in the word. So Psalm 34:18 says, the Lord is near to those who have a broken heart and saves those who have a contrite spirit. I actually like the version, I don't know which version it says crushed spirit. I like that better. But near means close enough to touch, intimately present. Broken heart is nishbar, which means literally shattered, crushed. It's not just sadness, it's a deep breaking, okay? And contrite spirit means crushed in spirit, humbled, pressed down. So basically, this verse is telling you to take comfort that when life breaks you or your business breaks you, that you can draw even closer to God right in the middle of the wreckage, and he will rescue you and he can heal you. And if you need a verse on the healing, there's a verse that says, by his stripes you are healed. So you can declare that too. By his stripes, my insecurity is healed. My broken heart is healed. My relationships are healed. My sales are healed. Like, whatever it is, you can declare that too. Number 6, speak your faith and prayers as if done. We speak because we believe it. Okay. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. So here's what I want you to know from this verse, because when I first started studying mindset, a lot of it was more universe. And it's really important for you all to understand that one of the personal shifts I've had in the last year and a half is really developing a relationship with Jesus and God and focusing on the relationship aspect. And the reason why I bring this up is because there's an old affirmation I used to say all the time that says, everything is always working out for me, even if it doesn't look like it, even if it doesn't feel like it. That is still a great affirmation. What I have found in my hard year of 2024, which was I really was craving a relationship. And while a lot of people use the term universe, it doesn't imply relationship. It doesn't imply closeness. It doesn't imply the reliability of having that relationship with your creator. And so I just randomly wanted to say that as part of this video. So keynotes, all things means everything without exception, even the painful, confusing, or unfair. Work together is the root of synergy, which is really interesting. It means actively cooperating, weaving together. So God is orchestrating these events like threads in a tapestry. So oftentimes we can't see or foresee how these events are working for our highest good and favor, but that doesn't mean that they're not. And you can always ask God to show you and reveal that to you, to bring you joy, to bring you encouragement, to shift your perspective. Because remember, perspective is your interpretation of how these things are happening. And when you shift that, it becomes a huge source of encouragement for good, not for comfort or for easy, but for your ultimate good and his glory. And what I mean by for good, sometimes these things we go through are not easy and they're not comfortable, but it will be worth it, is what I want to say. And the condition is any of those who love God are aligned with his purpose. Okay. So make sure that you are anchoring into your faith in Jesus. Okay. And it's a promise of divine redemption. Nothing in your life is wasted when surrendered to him. Now, number 7 is probably one of the most important pieces of this, which is it's okay if you feel alone, but it's not true. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it's true. You might feel like God's not with you. You might feel like your friends and family don't care, but it doesn't mean that they don't care, okay? And you can ask to feel God's presence if you don't feel it. Your family or friends are not going to understand everything you're going through. And honestly, they can't because they're not the ones who went through it. And it's a little unfair for you to expect them to exactly know what to say, how to react, how it feels, because they're not in your shoes. You can share with family and friends how you want them to love you and show up for you. And that empowers them to be an incredible help for you during your time of need. Another thing is that's allowed to change day by day. You know, your friends and family are not mind readers. So set them up for success. Tell them how you want to be loved, how you want to be supported. Sometimes you just want to be held. Sometimes you want words of affirmation. Sometimes you want to go out and do something fun. You allow your human being, set them up for success by telling how you want them to love you. And you know what, boo? If you have a day and you go, I don't know what I need, I don't know what I want, that's okay too. Just be honest with them, tell them I don't, and just sit in silence until it's revealed to you what would help you and what would feel good. The most important piece is God gets it. That's what I want you to know the most. Even Paul talks about this in 2 Timothy. He says, at my first offense, no one stood with me, but all forsook me. May I not be charged against them. So forgiveness. But the Lord stood with me and strengthened me so that the message might be preached fully and all Gentiles might hear. I was delivered out of the mouth of the lion. So basically, Paul himself was expressing that he knows what it's like to be abandoned, but he still is forgiving people. And even when humans disappeared, God is with you. And inner strength. And so I just want you all to know that you're not alone in all of this. And I want you to know that this will be harvested for your good and it's not permanent. And I just want to give you so much encouragement. I love you all so much, so much, so much. I will put a link down below if you're interested in joining my high-level mindset mastermind for badass business owners who are growing and scaling. I will put that application and the links in the comments, and I hope you have a beautiful day. All right, boo. Talk soon.